Hi, welcome to the spot. My name is Arzu Hashemi. I'm JDC Entwine Southern California Community Manager. And today I'm joined by Entwine alumna, phenomenal human being, and a very successful designer and DJ, Sanni Youboty. Sanni, so excited to be chatting with you.
It's been a while. I'm so happy to see your face, anyone else's face really, during the days.
Right? I'm dying. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Sanni. Who are you? What are you about? Where are you from?
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
So my name is Sanni Youboty. If you would like a life challenge, you can practice saying my full name, which is Masange Youboty. I'm Liberian American. I live here in Los Angeles for the most part when I'm not on the road touring or just being a person that vagabonds a little bit because I love traveling and stories and meeting people and sharing what I do. So I'm really fortunate to get to do that. I would say that I mostly love to make things sound good and make things look and function greater. In my free time, I am usually teaching women and girls music production or DJing, design and code for self-expression and enjoyment, but also as a lucrative career. I think it's important to know people have that as an option for professional career.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that you're a mentor to people. I think we need more people like you. How'd you get involved with Entwine?
I got involved in Entwine because I got an email. I wish there was a cooler solution or answer to that question. But like I said, I really do enjoy traveling. I enjoy people. I am a proud Jewess, and so I often subscribe to things that interest me off the internet just to check things out. And I got an email one day, and it said this JOC trip to Brazil, and I was like, wow, that sounds awesome. I haven't seen anything like that before. It just fit my budget and fit the time that I had at the end of the year, and the opportunity to connect with some other people of color who were also Jewish, which has been a dream of mine. I just couldn't resist, and I signed up for the trip.
Awesome. Yeah, and I had the pleasure of staffing that with you, and that was a really great experience that I'm still thinking about today. So I'm really happy that we got to share that together.
Yeah.
So the reason that you're here with us today is you're a DJ, and you've created for us a playlist. And I always think of DJs similar to museum curators, but you're not curating an exhibit or an event, you're curating a vibe. I always think of DJs as vibe curators. Tell us a little bit about the vibe of the playlist. What is the inspiration of this playlist that you've created for us, and this amazing set of tracks?
Well, you're right. We are curators for the most part, and this playlist that I've assembled has been more or less an extension of how I've been feeling lately, and I'm so happy to be able to share it with you guys, so thanks for the invite with that. Being 2020, I thought I'd choose 20 songs that have been in my heart and in my mind, that have helped me to really make it through some of these challenging days, especially with all the protesting and being active online and stuff. And so in my usual style, I just collected a bunch of songs that meant a lot to me, that were upbeat and fun mix of ancestral vibes, house and techno, selects that were just really inspiring to keep me going during these times. I always try to make sure that there's some parity, where half of the tracks are featuring women, and half or more than half of them are by people of color. And so that's what the playlist is made out of for the most part.
I love that. I love that so much. And listening to the playlist, I definitely feel like you've accomplished that vibe and that inspirational kind of feel. It has definitely pumped me up on this Friday. And it's really amazing because you can use music, as you know, to escape things, and connect also at the same time. So I really feel like you've accomplished that vibe, which is awesome. Cool. So 20 songs for 2020. What are three must listen to tracks on this playlist, and why are they must listens?
I would say the first song that I would select is Them People Go, which is the first track on the playlist. Dennis Ferrer, he is a house legend. Like, do your homework. He is fantastic. And I also love how he oftentimes mixes like Afro and ethnic rhythms in his productions. And if you listen to the lyrics of the song, it's just like, you know, them people, us, listing things that we are just tired of and looking forward to in a much better existence in the world. The second song I would choose is one that I actually ended up working on with my good friend Gavin Turek, who the song is called On the Line, and she's half Jewish. I just picked that song because when I worked on it and too, it meant a lot. Like if you listen to the lyrics of the song too, it's just talking about how the world is changing. She's getting deep in the world and that there are things that are really on the line right now. It's fun and upbeat and you want to dance, but like actually listen to what she's saying. It's something to get your mind going and to consider for your life. I also picked that song because Gavin is half Jewish, and I remember her applying for, her mother is Black American. I remember her applying for birthright and getting rejected for the trip.
Yikes.
And it's just things like that that happen for like, you know, a lot of people who are from, you know, intermarriages or mixed race families and stuff that happen in the Jewish community. And that's like someone that I know directly, you know, that things like that happen to. And then I would say the third song would be Tel Aviv to Casablanca by Pablo Fierro. And that song starts out pretty chill when you're listening to it. You're like, okay, is this groove gonna get more intense, more complex? And it sure enough delivers. It's so good. It's so good. It's fully instrumental and you just have to like earn it. You have to earn the
I love that.
So good. And I love him too because he travels a lot throughout you know, Africa and Asia, and you can really hear those elements in his music. I think actually he wrote the last place that he went to visit before COVID was Uganda and spent time just like mixing in the scene there. But also I love that the name of the track is Tel Aviv to Casablanca because there is a deep connection with Judaism and Israel and people from Africa, people from the Middle East, people from Asia, and places that people, I guess, in popular culture or in, I guess, mainstream Western world don't necessarily put two and two together with.
Yeah, wow, I love that. I feel like all three of those, it sounds like they flow together, both not just in how they sound and the music, but also the story. And I guess that's why like you're a professional curator. And I love that like you also weaved in, when you were talking about the track that you helped produce with your friend, I love that, you know, it was relevant to both your story and her story, and not just in the way that the music sounds, but also in the words and the lyrics. Because I like that, like, you know, you can listen to this track, Tel Aviv to Casablanca, that's all instrumental, and then your track, which has lyrics as well. And you really can like, I don't know what I'm saying. We'll definitely cut this part out. But I don't know where I was going. I was going in the direction that like, I love that your track has a specific story that's told through lyrics. And you can you like put it next to a track like from Tel Aviv to Casablanca where there are no lyrics, but you still feel as if you're like earning, to use your word, a story and an experience.
Yeah, I think you said that perfectly. Music is a communication tool, and I think that's what drew me in since I was a kid. I was always that kid listening to music, making mixtapes off the radio, you know. I don't like give how old I am away, but like literally pushing record on the tape player, like waiting for the next song that I like all day, and then hitting record again, and I would make these mixtapes.
Oh my gosh, that's dedication.
That kid, for sure. I was that kid. And I think also being the middle kid in a really large, loud Liberian family, I had to learn communication and to become a connector in order to like really survive. And it's
That's
translated
amazing.
to me into like music design and technology, but especially the music part and design and technology in general. But regardless of like what language you speak, your origin, your background, these things always connect people regardless. Like we might not all speak Italian. We might not all, you know, have been to Timbuktu, but if you put on a track, even if it has lyrics, you know, sometimes you'll meet people and they'll sing a full-on song. You're like, do you speak English? And they're like, we just know these lyrics, right? Or this song really makes me feel a certain way, or this design really speaks to me. And I think it's a great intersection. And yeah, and I feel like it's really played for me in my personal passion, but I'm so lucky that I get to do this professionally too. Because a lot of times it's true, you can teach the techniques, you can teach the, you can teach the techniques, you can teach the mechanics of it all, becoming a DJ, learning to use the turntables, or design or technology, learning to, you know, use a computer, but it really must come from your soul. In order for you to have style and be able to read a crowd or a room or perform for a client.
Right. It's art. And like, I love how you phrase that, you know, there is the technique that comes along with it, but it's also an art, and that art comes from your soul. And you touched upon this a little bit also, but and music is incredible, like you shared, because it has the power to kind of change who we are, not just our thoughts and our moods and our feelings, but also our values. So I'm wondering, how has music influenced the way that you perceive the world around you?
I would say in the underground scene, there's this concept of plur. I don't know if you've ever heard this term.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel like taboo, like even saying it right now, because it's supposed to be like a sacred thing. But it literally stands for peace, love, unity, and respect, plur. And this is big in like the house music and tech rave scene. But even if you extend it over to like hip hop and urban music, all these scenes, all these music that are so popular and have like, that are now all over the world, you can't be anywhere and not hear it and have it not affect you. These scenes all started from people who were other, people who were not being heard, people not getting jobs, people not getting healthcare, people who were literally other, and building a community and a sound for themselves. Yes, it stretched to other people, and that's part of the beauty in it. It's supposed to be inclusive. It's supposed to be an expression of who we are, and those are the deep values from it. And I've taken that in my personal life, and I try to spread that in my professional life as well. So I actually started this series called Deep Inside before COVID, where I tried to reclaim some of that space here in LA for Black and brown people of color, LGBTQ, anybody, allies could go. And all night long, it was supposed to be a safe place where you can hear these sounds like that we created. Yeah, in the mainstream, you may not see our faces, but this is a place where you can go and your friends can go and just dance to like ancestral vibes, techno music, house music, all night long. We would have guest DJs, local DJs, like no names and up and comers. And it was just really, really fun. And I love that that is actually the value and like the lifeblood of what music is.
Oh, I love that. You gave me the chills during that. I'm not kidding you.
Hopefully after COVID, we can dance, girl.
Yes, please. I would love that. It sounds so fun and amazing and special. And I think the way you talk about music is clear that those values, you know, are within you. And I love that, you know, as I know you have a separate persona for your DJ life, Fleury, right?
Yes.
And I love that, like,
mention that.
I know, me neither. I'm like,
as well.
Fleury.
Spotify, SoundCloud, I am Fleury.
Fleury. I love that Fleury is not just a different persona for you, but also a place where you can embody those values that have affected you and not affected you, but changed you, and bring it into your style and your music and your curation. It's amazing to see this like happen in your life. And going off of this conversation, you shared that the people who have started the music that we hear everywhere were often the other. And it's no question that the music industry is one of the most diverse spaces around. How have you seen the industry engage with the intersectionality of the identities of the artists, including and not limited to age, ability, race, ethnicity, gender identity, style, all of that?
Yeah, it's really important. There will not be the music industry or popular or even underground music if it wasn't for these things like you said. There has to be intersectionality. And funny enough, many of the elements in the music scene translates over to the Jewish community. Like, what messaging are we putting out there? Is this accessible for everybody? Are we being tolerant, and are we actually creating and sustaining a community? And, it's really cool to see Entwine kind of extend on all of those elements that are important to music. And I do think, like, as a larger Jewish community, whether we like it or not, these are important elements too. And if we are to continue thriving, we have to really, really take a deep introspection on who we are, who we want to be, and what the future will look like as a more and more diverse community, because that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you 100%. And just as, music can reflect who we are, we need our spaces to also do that. And you touched upon this too, is it kind of comes down to responsibility, right? Like, what is the responsibility of us to make that happen? We're all about, you've traveled with us, so you know that one of our values is global responsibility. What's the responsibility we have to ourselves, to each other, to other communities? How can music play a role in reminding us of these responsibilities?
I think, again, it's all in like the messaging and being accessible to people. Like, I would say there's two main things in Judaism that I love. There's actually a lot of things. I'm not just going to list two, but I love that the music too. Like, when you go to different synagogues, you hear different tunes that represent different cultures, different peoples, different stories. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, I sing Adon Olam this way. And then you go to another synagogue, you're like, well, I know the words, but let me hear what you guys are doing. I love that feeling so much. And when you hear people of different backgrounds, like when I go to my Yemeni friends' homes for Shabbat dinner or just to hang out, the songs and stories and folklores even that you hear them say, or when I go over to my Ethiopian friends' home for Shabbat or holidays and stuff, it's just, you cannot have Judaism without music in a way, and storytelling, and that's a big part of music. It's the storytelling, it's being accessible, it's being tolerant, and it's part of the community.
Yes, agreed. Amazing. It's like, it is such a connector, music, and it does show us our differences, but in a way that we can celebrate it and learn from each other and connect to these different cultures, whether it's like general culture or within the Jewish community. And I love the Don Olam example, because we have all experienced that, where we walk into a space and we're like, what is this tune? I'm just gonna try to clap or something.
One or three.
Everyone has that experience.
Yeah.
I love it so much. Well, thank you so much, Sanni, for joining today and for creating this fabulous, fun playlist that's super important and meaningful. It's been a great conversation with you. I love talking to you, and I hope you have a great Shabbat. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I just realized that they're going to cut this out because it's not going to be on Shabbat. So I'm going to do the thank you one more time. Sorry. All right. Thank you so much, Sanni, for creating the playlist and for curating a vibe for us and for coming here today and talking a little bit more about it and who you are and your work. It's been really awesome, and I always love talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope you guys enjoy the playlist and really consider the messaging that we have a more open, tolerant, and beautiful Judaism.
Yes, retweet to that. I love that. You can find Sanni's playlist on Entwine's virtual platform, The Thread, which is accessible at jdcentwine.org/thethread. While you're there, you can check out all the different virtual happenings that we have going on, including our Entwine exclusives, our global book club Off the Shelf, our do-it-yourself toolkits like the Films from the Field toolkit. All that good stuff is there. Make sure to check it out, and we'll see you soon.
See ya.